Hi guys, it's Carisa, and today is 6 weeks and 2 days, and we had an ultrasound this morning where we were able to see a heartbeat. And it doesn't seem real. It's just such an amazing feeling, and I feel like I can be a little bit less terrified, but it's definitely a one day at a time kind of process. And it's sad because having so many losses before a pregnancy that looks like it's healthy does rob me a lot of the joy that I otherwise could probably feel. But that's not to say that I don't appreciate this moment and that I don't consider today a huge success. We still just don't even know how to believe it, but we're so happy so far. And I have 2 ultrasounds scheduled next week, one with my OB and one with the fertility clinic, because I'm still seeing them for intralipids, and they're overseeing my blood work a little more closely than my OB's office is. And I do appreciate that because they put me on estrogen last week, the day after I had asked my OB if I should be on estrogen, and he said no, and they had actual blood work numbers to work from. So I do appreciate having them help me through the first 12 weeks or so. So here is our photo from today, and it's not a great photo, but we were able to see the fetal pull in the sac and the heartbeat flicker. She said that it looked perfect and it was coming through really strong. So she tried to hear it, but she said, we never really hear it this early. I just wanted to see because it looked so likely that we would. So it was such a good feeling, and there's definitely a different air about the staff. Mike and I were just discussing how, and we had never really talked about it before, but we were talking about how it's hard to go back in there because we've only ever had terrible news and really bad ultrasounds. And they always act like they're trying to stay positive. They'll never really tell you, but they can tell something's wrong. And it's so different when everything seems to be okay. Mother's Day is this weekend, and it's been incredibly difficult to keep this from my mother and sister and Mike's mother. So we are going to tell them this weekend. I did purchase some gifts for them to announce the pregnancy, just in case. I didn't get anything with a date on it, and just in case things didn't go well, so I could tuck it away. And I'm hoping now that we're in a little bit of a better position, knowing that there was at least a heartbeat today, that I can stop thinking that way. Like, just for example, every night I have to do a shot of Lovenox and a vaginal suppository of progesterone and an estrogen pill. And every single day I only take out one because I think this could all change by tomorrow, so I don't want the dose sitting out to upset me the next day. So I'm slowly learning to kind of let go of that a little bit and relax my mind. I'm definitely not being negative. I'm just trying to be careful and sorry, the dog got bored. He could tell I wasn't eating anything, so I'm just trying to be careful and to not get too excited, even though at this point it would devastate us no matter what if things weren't going well. But I'm not going to start making any major baby purchases or anything so far. I did have a list of things that I had been experiencing the past couple of weeks, and I figured I'd share that with you to get caught up till now. To be honest, I feel really good, and some days that is definitely concerning. I'm not worried because I don't have any major symptoms or anything, but it would definitely be comforting to me to experience more of that. But I'll have to be careful what I wish for because who knows what could be ahead. I did know that I was pregnant on April 16th, which was 3 weeks. It was like about 3.5 weeks, or just over 3.5 weeks. I took a home pregnancy test that morning, and I had noticed that morning, as well as like about 2 or 3 days leading up to it, that I had this really familiar feeling in my stomach, like almost like there was a bird cage in my stomach. So it felt kind of crampy, but it felt like there was like a hollow, hard space in my stomach. I can't really describe it better than that, but I've experienced that in the past with previous pregnancies. I also kept waking up on my back, and I've only ever done that ever in the history of my life when I've been pregnant. And even though most of my pregnancies ended really, really early, I would wake up on my back. Even if I started, I'm a side sleeper forever. And I always fall asleep on my side and wake up on my side, but not lately. I will wake up on my back almost every single morning. So those were a couple of small but noticeable differences. I also was getting strange tension headaches in the back of my head, and my glasses, my sunglasses, and my vision glasses, which I don't normally wear because I wear contacts, but they felt really tight in the back of my head. My head felt swollen a little bit, and I was getting really bad night sweats at night, so the back of my head was also bothering me at night because I was getting really sweaty. I also noticed, which this seems to have stopped, but I would have brief periods of ringing in my ears, which wouldn't last long, but it was happening often enough for me to notice. And I have no idea if that has anything to do with it or not, but it was definitely something new that was happening around the same time that I was getting that kind of swollen feeling. Probably the only consistent thing that seems to be going on is soreness and tenderness in my breasts. Before, with previous pregnancies, it was kind of localized to just the nipple area, but now it's the whole thing, and they feel bruised everywhere, really sore. And if I'm carrying things in my arm and they press against me, it definitely is noticeable. It's like a noticeable pain. It just kind of feels like they got hit really hard everywhere. They just hurt all over. But it's not noticeable until I press on them in some way. Or if I have like a water bottle tucked under my arm, something like that. So otherwise they feel fine. And I haven't really had any nausea, but I definitely suffer from this occasional sort of worried feeling. My stomach will feel really nervous and nauseous, like you have a big test coming up or a really important job interview and you're trying not to think about it, but your stomach feels really just uneasy. And that would happen to me all day long, and the only times it would stop or go away is after I've eaten. But it's not every day. It's only like 1 or 2 times a week. Another thing that I've noticed is I haven't been tired. I do get tired at nighttime pretty consistently. Around 7:30 or 8 o'clock, I'm ready for bed, and sometimes I will go to sleep that early. I just can sleep very, very easily and quickly at night. I wake up kind of early, between 5 and 6, but I sleep straight through the night except for when I get up to pee, which I've always kind of had to do. And during the day, if anything, I have more energy than I normally would. That was concerning to me also, but I did a little bit of reading on it, and that actually does happen to some women. A very small percentage of women get more energy in the first trimester, and I don't know how long that's going to last for me. I'm definitely not complaining, but it was another thing that made me feel a little nervous because I cut my caffeine and I still feel like I could just keep going all day. And even if I tried to carve out some time in the afternoon to lay down and take a nap, I just was way too wound up to lay down and rest. And that is not me at all. You guys know I'm a napper. I had never ever heard of that happening to another woman before ever. I didn't even know. I had no idea. When it comes to food, I really don't have an appetite. Nothing ever sounds good to me, but I wouldn't say I have any food aversions necessarily. My sense of smell is definitely heightened, but it doesn't affect me in terms of things that I do or don't want to eat. If I could say anything, I have no appetite or interest in sweets. And I was always the type of person who, after every single meal, would like something sweet, just a little something. But we have a fridge stocked full of Halo Top ice cream. I finally found all the fun flavors, and I just don't even want it ever. That used to be our thing. We'd have a little tiny bit of ice cream after dinner together a couple nights a week, and I just I'd rather just go to sleep. And if I'm gonna eat anything ever, I don't want it to be sweet. I bought these little granola bars to have on hand in my purse so that I wouldn't get too hungry if I was out running errands and away from the house and wanted to eat something. And they have, I think, cranberries and dried cranberries in them, and it makes them too sweet for me, so I don't want them. As far as cravings go, it's really weird because I wouldn't really call it a craving, but I guess maybe that's what this is. I just want chicken fingers all the time. And that's not something I ever used to care about or think twice about ever. So, and several times a week, I'll be thinking, you know, what am I gonna have for dinner? And for some reason, that's the only thing I can think of. I've only indulged in that a couple of times, but, and it's not like you know, it's not a desire so strong that I feel like I have to have it or anything, but it's the only thing that kind of pops up in my mind. But that's it so far. And if everything goes well next week, I will make another video for you, and hopefully shortly thereafter I will have started sharing all these with you guys. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.